Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. I am so excited to welcome our next guest, Karine Delage of the Charisma Agency. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you are such an incredible PR maven. I've seen articles written about you all over. How did you make your mark in this world, in the PR world?
Well, I actually started when I was 8 years old. I used to be the youngest journalist back home in Montreal. I worked for the biggest magazine when I was 13, and I just saw, like, I was looking at the behind the scene and stuff, and then
You worked for the biggest magazine at 13. What were you doing?
Interviews with artists and talents.
How did you get
At 13.
that? How did you nail that?
In between 8 and 13, I did over like 150 interviews. And with like talents, sports people back in Montreal, like the Expos back in the day.
Like on
for
your
baseball.
own?
Yeah, on my own.
Wow.
And people were actually coming over to my house and doing interviews. I know it sounds creepy now because nobody would do that in 2018.
You
but
must have
back
been
in
a
the
journalist in a past life. I mean, at 8 years old, and then by 13, working for the largest magazine in Montreal?
Yeah.
What were your parents saying about you?
My parents were just like impressed because none of my parents were in the industry. Like my dad used to work in construction. My mom used to stay at home. So yeah.
Wow.
They're still up to this day. I mean, up to this day, my dad is still like, I'm not sure what you're actually doing. But I always ask the little question.
So for people watching who aren't familiar with what PR means or public relations, tell them a little bit about your role and responsibilities.
PR means a lot, actually. We could become agent. We do pretty much everything, and we babysit talent sometimes. But yeah, PR is really like getting the word out for your clients, either in music, fashion, sports, brands, and to make your clients look good too.
Wow. And so you're a full service, bilingual
Yes.
public relations agency.
Correct.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about the challenges and opportunities in that, because I think that's a special niche.
It is. I think that since I work more in New York and the States this year, I see it even more and more. Because when you're in Canada, speaking French / working, knowing the entire country is one thing. But when you come to New York and LA, people are like, hold on. A, you speak French, so we could get more opportunities. B, we don't really know how Canada works. Because it's a whole different mentality, and sometimes people tend to forget that Canadians don't always think like US.
Yeah.
So
in
true.
many points.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah.
Incredible. So you started out at 8, like
Correct.
interviewing people out there in the world, right? Inviting them, they come to your house sometimes, and
Yeah.
you interview them. And so how did you get to a place where you actually started the
To do
agency?
PR?
Yeah.
Well, I went to the Billboard Music Award, cover a bunch of the award show, Grammys, Billboard. I was in Woodstock in '99. And then I kept seeing like how PR people were acting on the red carpet, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I just enjoyed like doing the behind the scene and everything else. So that's how I started. I worked for a PR firm for 3 years. Then I left and started my own agency 6 years ago.
What people might not realize is that public relations is one of the most important and vital components of the entire entertainment industry.
Oh my God, it is. People tend to forget that because there's always this little gray line that people think that you do marketing or you're promoter, like club promoter, and or you sell. But people forget how it's important to have a good image on TV, how to express yourself, do good interviews, get sponsors too, because sometimes like athletes more so needs like sponsors.
And for the people who make a very big public mistake, you're the one who has to fix it.
Correct. And we babysit too. They need us.
So tell us a few of your recent success stories.
Well, actually, that's a funny one because you guys played Drake at the beginning of the show. Earlier last week, we won a campaign that I worked on, won a Clio Award in New York.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really?
In the music marketing section. And the gold went to David Bowie for the project, which is named Canada Sound. We won silver, and Drake came third with bronze. So this is probably the only time in my life I could say I beat Drake.
Wow, well, congratulations.
Those are bragging rights right there.
Right?
Yeah.
It has to. It's one time. That's
Yeah.
it.
So what else is, what else I noticed, read about you is that you're sort of been named one of the sort of top 40 under 40, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have this award back in Canada for the top 40 under 40 in PR, and I'm top 40 under 40 for 2017 and 2018.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, it's been a good journey so far. Like the past 2 years, more than ever.
What do you think it is, though, about you that earned that title?
I don't know who's watching from back home and or the States, but a lot of people say the energy that I have
Yeah.
is different than other people in the industry.
Yeah.
And probably because I'm French, that's the whole component to it.
Yeah.
What do you think that is, that component, that little je ne sais quoi?
I don't know. I think we would have to ask like people around me because I'm really modest when it comes to those things. So
Yeah.
I just don't
Maybe it's
know.
the modesty itself.
You know what? Maybe.
Yeah.
That could be.
What do you love most about what you do?
That I would not wake up one extra day without doing what I do. I just love the people I work with, my clients and my friends and everything. I just love the vibe. I know sometimes, and probably for you guys to wake up sometime and are like, ugh, I have to wake up and do this, but you would not change anything.
Right.
So I guess it's the same thing for me.
Where do you see yourself and your company in 5 years?
Growing more worldwide, going to UK, going to Australia, Paris, growing. Because I already, like, just this year alone, I've done so much in New York and LA. So just growing.
Yeah. What do you attribute your success to?
Just the fact of keep going.
Yeah. The persistence?
Yeah, the hustling, the persistency.
What
Yeah.
keeps you persistent? What keeps you hustling?
My dream, because I'm not where I am yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm here, but I want to be here. And when I'm here, I'm just gonna want to grow even like higher.
Isn't that interesting? So
Yeah.
I think I even realized that about myself. I thought, oh, when I'm here, then I'll be happy or I'll feel this way or whatever. But then I
Yeah.
realized, oh no, now there's just another layer.
It's
and
another
layer.
step. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I keep posting quotes on my Instagram, and that's pretty much what I say like all the time to people.
Yeah. I wrote a whole book about it. It was decades in the making. And I realized, oh man, I hit this milestone and I thought it would be like this and it was great, but now it's over
true.
and now it's a memory. And so then you work your way towards the next mountaintop.
Yeah.
And then that just becomes the starting point for another one, sort of another climb. So
It's true because if you just stop where you are and you're like, nah, I'm good.
yeah.
It's like it's boring.
Yeah.
There's no challenge.
Can you imagine if Daniel DiMaggio stops where he's at 15 on American
Exactly.
Housewife?
Yeah. Pretty good life though.
Or Madison Beaver at 4 million views. I mean, they've already done what some would say is impossible.
Exactly. No, it's true.
It is a really good point, and I love sort of what Daniel said earlier because, if you don't love what you do, it is possible to get to a point where you're like, wow, I've achieved all this stuff. It hasn't necessarily made me all that much happier.
Exactly.
And so what's the point of continuing on this journey? But you continue with the journey because you love it so much.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. What part of your work do you love the most?
I think that every time I get a new stepping stone for a client, like a new oh, this client is doing Young Hollywood. This client is doing like People magazine, like just something like always bigger for them. That would be it.
I think I've just discovered one of the other things that has led to your success, and that is that you take real pride in other people's success.
It's
Right?
Actually, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate
Well,
that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. Tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
They could find me on Instagram, Twitter at Charisma Agency, so KARYZMA Agency, or just Google my name. You'll find me.
There you go. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more in Good Morning La La Land.